welcome to Vlogmas day 8, third video of the night that I'm making. It is 1:30 a.m. It is now December 9th. I'm ready to go to bed and I'm gonna go when I get done with this, but I was just like, I want to do this while my hair is down. So I have been debating on if I wanted to continue doing these for a while now. I started doing book reviews a few months back and then I stopped, but because I'm doing Vlogmas, I kind of want to start back up. But I was debating on if I wanted to or not, and I just said, you know what, you remember not the last Audible that I listened to, but the one before that, I remember what it was about. It's crazy because I can remember that one, but I can't remember the last one. And it's content, why not? And my guy friend, honey, whatever, he thinks that I should too. I'm gonna do a quick little book review on not the last book, not the last Audible book, but the one before that that I finished probably a couple weeks ago, week and a half ago, maybe a couple weeks ago, something like that. And it's called Still Hung Up on You by Liz Maverick. I think that this was the first Audible that I listened to that had more than one person reading the book. It had a guy playing the guy parts and a woman playing the female parts. And I had to get used to that while I was listening to it, but I did. And the book that I'm currently on has a guy doing the guy parts and a woman doing the woman parts, and it's such a good book. So I would definitely do a review on that once I'm done. But this was the first one that I listened to that had a female and a male, so that was different for me. And again, it's called Still Hung Up on You, and this is what it looks like. And again, it's by Liz Maverick. And basically what it is about, I'm gonna give the gist and then I'll give the backstory. A guy and a girl who dated way back when in high school, they broke up and came back together years later. That's the gist of it. Got back together years later and lived happily ever after, I'm imagining. They dated back in high school. The guy ended up breaking up with the girl, I guess because he felt like they were too young to be so serious, you know, and he was young and dumb and broke up with her. I forgot how many years later, but she looked him up on social media because I can't, it's either, I think it was a blanket, I could be wrong on that, but it was either a jacket or a blanket that she wanted from the guy that belonged to her parents. She found him on social media and they ended up talking for a short period of time, and they were really clicking on the phone, calling each other all throughout the day, night. But he was in a different country for work, but he had sent her a key to his place. Well, let me back up. She told him that she needed, I want to say a blanket. I could be wrong. If I'm wrong on that, I apologize. But it was some type of clothing, either a jacket or a blanket. She told him that she needed it, and at first she didn't tell him why. She just said that it was her dad's, I believe. But like I said, he was away in another country working. She had left it at what was his parents' house at the time. I feel like I'm blurry. I'm sorry if I am, but I want to keep it close so you can see me. But he ended up buying his parents' house, and now it's his house. He figured that if it's still there after all these years later, it would be in his attic. So he like overnighted her a key to his place, but it got lost in another country. She decided to drive I don't remember what state she lived in, but it's a long way. She decided to drive all the way there, from there to Philadelphia, where they're from. I think she lived in New York, I believe. But they're from Philadelphia, so she decided to drive from New York to Philadelphia. But because the key, he was supposed to overnight it to her in New York, and when she went to her mailbox, the key wasn't there, and he found out that it was in another country. So she decided to drive from New York to Philadelphia, and she ended up making some pit stops along the way. And when she finally got to his house, which used to be his parents' house, she had to basically break into the house because there was no key for her to get in. She ended up at some point telling him why at first she told him that it was for her parents' anniversary, that she wanted this, like I said, I believe it was a blanket. But then she ended up telling him that her parents are actually getting a divorce, and she was hoping that somehow this blanket from way back when that had to do with her mom and her dad would keep them together. And way back when they dated in high school, his mom and her mom wanted them to be together and get married and all this and that. So they didn't want their parents to find out that they started back talking, because they thought that their parents would try to talk them into getting back together and getting married and all this and that. His mom and her mom were really good friends, and when she got to his house, because he's always on the road for work, there was no food or anything, so she went to the store to get some food the morning after she got there, and she ran into his mom in the store, and she was trying to avoid her because she didn't want his mom to find out that she was back in town and then go tell her mom, and they put the pieces of the puzzle together. She ran into his mom anyway in the store. She got in the house, like it was a whole ordeal when she was breaking into the house. He had told her that it was supposed to be a key under a rock somewhere, and when she found the key, it was like eaten up by animals or whatever, so she couldn't use it. It was only half of it. So he had a dog door, and she got stuck in the dog door trying to get in the house, and he has like a security system. The alarm went off and security came, and they had to help her get in the house. She was stuck in the doggy door. So she finally got in the house, and the next morning she went up in the attic, and it was apparently really dusty and nasty, and she found the blanket. Like I said, I want to say it's a blanket, and it, I guess like all of like rats or whatever, and just it being old, it had gotten eat up and it was in really bad shape. She said it was disgusting, and she was all emotional. Like they were talking on the phone this whole time, off and on, like reminiscing, and she went through the house looking at old photo albums, and I guess he hadn't changed some parts of the house from how it was when his parents owned it, because he was not there that often because he was always traveling for work. Like they just did a lot of reminiscing, going down memory lane, and they started falling for each other, but didn't really want to admit it. Long story short, at the end, he ended up surprising her and came to the house, and she didn't know. They basically got back together at the end. So it's basically a story about two people who found their way back to each other because she was in search of trying to keep her parents together, but it really brought her and her ex back together. And like he apologized that he broke up with her, and he realized that he made a mistake, and he was young and dumb, and he should have never left her. So two people found their way back to each other. That's kind of the gist of it, and it's called Still Hung Up on You because it was based around them always being on the phone throughout the book. Like literally on the phone, night, day, in between. He's in the airport, they're on the phone. She's on the road, they're on the phone. She's in the attic, they're on the phone. She got stuck on the dog door, they're on the phone. Like they were on the phone all throughout the entire book. And that's why it's called Still Hung Up on You. It's really good, kind of funny. And if you know me, you know I love romance. So I thought it was really cute. 2 characters, male, female. Great book. I would highly recommend it. I had to get used to it at first because like I said, it's the first Audible where it's been a man and a woman. So I had to get used to that. But it was a really good book. I would recommend. I would give it 4 out of 5 stars. I don't know why I wouldn't give it 5. I would give it 4 out of 5. Again, it's called Still Hung Up on You. And that is, if I can get it, that is what it looks like. And like I said before, I listen to my books on Audible. And the narrators, the woman and the man, Andrew Eldon and Lucy Kristen Bell. And the writer is again Liz Maverick. Still Hung Up on You. It's a great book. Highly recommend. If you haven't read it and you like Audibles, or if you just want the actual book, go get it. It's such a good read or a good listen to. And it on Audible, it is, let me see how long. It's 2 hours and 28 minutes. Took me a few days because I mostly listen to them like when I'm in the shower or if I'm cleaning up around my apartment or something. So I don't listen to them straight on. That 2 hours took me a few days. But I mean, if you're somebody who's going to just listen to it nonstop, you can knock that out in a day easily. I hope that you enjoyed Vlogmas Day 8. And when I am done with the Audible that I'm on right now, I will do a review on that one. It's really good. And the one that I'm on right now is somewhat sexual and a little graphic, but romantic and funny, and I like it. I'm enjoying it. And again, it has 2 characters, also a male and a female. So when I'm done with that one, I will be back with a review of that one. It may or may not be a part of Vlogmas. I think it will, because hopefully it don't take me too much longer. I hope that you enjoyed Vlogmas Day 8, and I will see you in Vlogmas Day 9. I'm about to take my ass to bed, okay? Good night.